Let's just keep them right out. Thank you. Right. 1, 2. Is that on? Right. Is it on?
Yeah, a bit closer.
I will start by introducing myself. I'm Stephen, the very proud father of the bride. I have the dubious honour of being the warm-up act before the real speeches. I do confess to being a bit nervous today, not because I'm unused to public speaking, but because I've rarely had the chance to speak for a few minutes and be listened to at the same time. That is because I've been married to Alison for over 30 years. Firstly, I would like to take the opportunity to welcome you all to this magnificent venue. The fact that so many of you have travelled to be here represents the true and deep friendships you clearly hold with Ed and Lois. You have all played a big part in their lives over the years, and I'm sure we will have a wonderful time today celebrating their wedding. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ed's immediate family for their love and generosity they have shown to Lois over the last few years, and for the friendship to Alison, Joe and myself. Also to Lois's bridesmaids, her very special friends, Lou and Millie from Millfield, Beth from Cardiff, all looking stunning. Also, a big congratulations to Deborah, who unfortunately cannot be with us today due to her England rugby call-up. As I look at Lois today, I can't help but reflect on all the years I was lucky enough to watch her grow and become the beautiful woman she is. A wonderful daughter, kind and caring, who has given us so much joy and happiness. Clever, articulate and fun-loving, she has kept us entertained with the dancing, drama, panto performances and, of course, the high-performance netball. Well, for those of you who don't know, Lois always gives 100% in everything she does. I should also point out that Lois plays to win. So just a warning, board games are not a good option. Never, ever play Monopoly with her. Every father worries about their daughter finding the right man, one that will make her happy. When I first met Ed 8 years ago, I went straight up to him and said, well, not much at all when I realised the size of the bloke. Oh, like that. Right, seriously though, beside their love for each other, they have so much in common. A love of sport, love of dogs, not forgetting the beautiful Molly and the not so beautiful Barry. Sorry, that had to be said, sorry. Top of the list would be good food and fine wine, as Mark and Sue know. Food bills can be very high when they are living with you. I have no advice to give Ed. Their love has been tested to the limit already. Carry on doing what you can, Ed, and I'm sure nothing will get in your way. Finally, I would like to propose a toast to the happy couple, and I know that everyone here will want to join me in raising your glass to a very long, happy and healthy future together. To Ed and Lois.
Oh, it's great! That was so good!
First time I've ever done that.
I'm sure he'll come in soon. The next speech is obviously a big one. Reason why we're here today. A very good friend of mine, but not my best mate. But a good mate. Can you please put your hands together for Edward Jackson?
Mate, you're in the top 10. I'll give you that, honestly.
Stevie can do it.
Come on, Stevie. Come on. Do not go in there. Right, I'm going to say a few words, but first, can everyone fill the wine glasses, because we're going to do a bit of drinking as well. 2 reasons one, we're on holiday. And two, if I get you all pissed, you might not be able to remember what Rich says in the best man speech. Well, just a word of warning as well, you might have to bear with me through parts of this speech because I'm not actually as cool as I look. I'm a complete softie at heart. And it's been tough writing some of this, but we'll give it a go anyway. When Lois and I first sat down and she started telling me exactly what we were doing for our wedding, our first conundrum was, how do we get all the right people in the room? How do we know that people aren't just going to accept an invite because they feel obliged to accept an invite? How do we know people want to actually be here? And I thought, I got it. Let's do it 1,000 miles away, somewhere really fucking expensive. And then we'll find out who actually likes us. So, the first toast is to all of you for making the effort to come all the way out here and celebrate with us in our favourite place. So everyone raise a glass and have a drink. Skip points, Buffalo. Millsy, let it go, mate. Fucking hell.
You need to say.
No, seriously, we didn't bring you all out here just to test your friendship. This place actually means quite a lot to me and Lois. We came here 4 years ago when we were travelling around Tuscany, having gone to another wedding. We did 10 days travelling around, completely fell in love with the area, came to this place, and we said if we ever get married, we should come back and do it here. So here we are, and that's what we're doing. For a long time, it seemed as though that it might not be the case, and we actually had to cancel it for quite a while, but thank you to Poggio, they kept the dates open, and we go ahead as planned without any complications. So thank you to Poggio. As this is actually my first groom speech, I had to do a bit of research into who I had to talk about, and there's certain groups of people that I'm obliged to talk about. So if I say anything about you and you don't like it, it's not my fault. I had to say it. So where should we start? I suppose we're going to have to start with the bridesmaids. Well, quite clearly, one of them isn't here. I'm sorry, lads. Deborah's been picked for England, so she's in San Francisco at the moment. Bit selfish if you ask me, but we wish her all the best and anyone else who gets in her way. But we're still very spoiled. We're very spoiled with the other three we've got here, and all I can say is, holy bazookas. Guys, you've known me and Lois for a long time, and you know what a right pair of tits we can be. And I've got many fond memories of going out on nights with you and dancing to some bangers. But seriously, what you've done for Lois over the last, especially over the last year, you guys are the best. Wow. No. It's all, in all seriousness, not just the bridesmaids, but all of Lois's friends. You know, all the netball girls as well. It's been great to get to know you over the years, and actually, they've made the rugby boys look like Boy Scouts on many occasions on nights out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll find out in a couple of hours. It's a little bit disturbing. So, toast number 2, let's have another drink to the girls.
Ed needs some more drink.
Yeah, I do need some more drink. You're right, Alison. Thanks, darling. Lois once asked me why I seem to go through life collecting the most damaged people as friends. I thought that was a bit harsh, to be honest. But then I remembered she's dyslexic, and what she must have meant was fun. And yes, you are all very fun. But there is, however, one of these fun friends who can't be here today, and I didn't want to let this moment go without saying a few words. I'll keep it short, but a lot of you know him, a lot of you love him, and I just want to say, we all miss you, we all wish you were here.
Go on, Ed.
So let's have a drink for Tommy. Oh, God. That's literally all I can manage on that one. So, the in-laws. There was two things I heard about Stephen Rideout before I met him. One, he was an outstanding plumber. Two, he threatened to break Lois's ex-boyfriend's legs with a baseball bat. So, before I first met him, one of those two facts was running heavily through my mind. But thankfully, he hasn't assaulted me yet, and I don't plan on giving him any reason to, because there's no chance I can run away anymore. But no, because some sort of slow motion, Lauren and Hardy thing, wouldn't it? Yeah. No, but seriously, Stevie babes, your love for food, wine, and the old Marlboro Light bonded us on many levels. But your passion for your family, you would do anything for them, and that means a lot. You're one of the most generous people I know, and I plan on taking that forward with mine and Lois's family into the future.
Fantastic.
They say if you want a glimpse into the future, you should look up the bloodline. And for me, that's the female side. Alison, Dorothy. Take one look at them and you realise that I've made quite a well-informed investment. Those figures aren't just for looks either. These women are absolute machines. I went on a walk with Alison once, and I was jogging and she was walking. And that's not a joke. So now I obviously can't bother going walking with her because that's enough said. But Dorothy is 88 years young in a month's time. She still rocks her bikini on Bournemouth Beach, and I promise you she will outdance you on the dance floor later. Any of you. Right, Joe. Are you still here, mate? Oh, there he is. There he is, mate. Mate, good to see you, mate. They always thought that Lois was the dramatic one, you know, all the dance classes, all the extra drama lessons. What they didn't realise is actually the true talent was right under their nose. From spending a lot of time in the summer house watching Joe mixing tunes, even though he doesn't like to show anyone else, he is truly unbelievable at it. And then his hilarious ability of serenading inanimous household objects during dinner. The guy is truly the most entertaining bloke I know. Don't ever change, mate. I promise you. The world's a better place with you. So, the Rideouts, thank you all for welcoming me into your family. You truly make me feel at home when I'm with you guys. Lois might have changed her name to something a bit shitter, but you haven't lost a daughter, you've gained a son. So, It's been an honour and a pleasure. So here's to the ride-outs. Right, my rent. Mum, Dad, Sue, I'm going to keep this short. Sorry. I know it can be a bit stressful being mine and Josh's parents from time to time. And but we're well into our 20s now and both still alive. I gave it a good go last year, but you know, I think we're doing a good job. MJ, I know you were probably whilst you're in the pool watching me flap around, you were probably seeing just remembering house parties and broken vases and teachers' phone calls and thinking maybe it'd be easier if I just let them sink to the bottom. Because after all, 3 boys would be a lot easier to look after than 4. But I'm glad you came around. Sumo. There can't be many blokes in the world whose stepmum could genuinely beat them up. You're a savage competitor in the gym, but one of the most caring people away from it. Your positivity and lust for life combined with a complete lack of social awareness is quite simply hilarious. And we wouldn't have you any other way. Turn it over again. Mum, what can I say? Super Mum. There's not a stain, crease or speck of dust that gets past you. The amount of times I've got all my clothes out to get ready to go into town, jumped in the shower and come back and they're all folded away back in the drawers again, I honestly don't know. I think the most telling fact is that Josh is 26, he still doesn't know how to use a washing machine. Mum, you're amazing, you always will be, and I'm so happy to see how happy you are again. To Sarah, let's have another drink.
Good girl.
Right. Yeah. Mrs. Jackson. Most of the things I was going to tell you about Lois have been vetoed, and I kind of was running out of stories that I could actually say in front of your parents. So, fortunately, the celebrant tonight reminded me of the time we first met. And as she said, I was a fireman, you were a ballerina. And I remember looking across the room and thinking, here's my chance. So I put my best swagger on, walked over, gave it the blue steel. Do you want anything from Morrison's? Yeah, 4 recorder licks, please. Okay. Gallantly, I turned down any cash, and off I went. I thought that went bloody well, so went skipping down to the shops. Naturally, came back 20 minutes later. No recorder licks, 6 cans of Stella, and a packet of Doritos. There was 9 minutes between me leaving Cutter's flat, going to Morrison's and coming back, and I'd completely forgotten why I was in there. Went into autopilot and just bought myself some beers. And it wasn't until I looked up and saw your face that I realised that I'd seriously messed up. So I thought, let's just pretend there was no recorder licks. But instead, I decided to come clean, said, I got a bit of a bad short-term memory, and you said, I don't care, I like Stella anyway. And that was the moment when I knew that I was going to fall in love with this girl. And it was also the moment that she knew that I was a complete retard. Anyway, we went out that night, and we spent the night in our own little bubble, singing songs to each other. Do you remember what songs we were singing to each other?
Purple Rain, Prince.
Purple Rain, exactly. And as we left Second Bridge, you turned to me and you said, fancy a kebab? I was like, bloody hell. She looks like that, she drinks Stella, and she wants a kebab. I've hit the jackpot here. Anyway, after leaving Marmara's, we turned... Marmara's, yeah, the Bath crew know what I'm talking about. We turned, went our separate ways, and after about 20 minutes I thought, I just can't let this one go. So I turned, ran back up behind you, tapped you on the shoulder, put on my best blue steel again, sexiest voice, and said, I can't let you leave without asking for your number. It actually sounded quite a lot like that. That was pretty much identical to what I said. And she looked at me up and down and she said, I gave it to you 20 minutes ago, you retard. So that was it. Day one, she knew how retarded I was, and I'd heard her singing voice. So it could only be uphill from there, and it has been. I talked about earlier about how good an investment I've made. I mean, the Stella drinking ballerina. Look at her now. Lois, on the other hand, her investment strategy has to be questioned. She went out with a professional sportsman, and now she's married to a cripple.
Never any other way.
But this cripple loves you more than you will ever know. And I am so proud to call you my wife. So the last toast is to the main event, Lois Rideout. Jackson, even. To Lois. Jackson. Lois Jackson. Right, everyone enjoy the next course.
Well, I'm going to come over here and talk to the cheap seats because I think you should be looked after. It's not good enough. This is for you. So before I start, I just want to say a few words which won't mean anything to anybody except Mills's table, which is life, Ed, Lois. You're dead, mate. So I was going to refuse to speak tonight because it was so hot that I thought I was going to die of dehydration, but they found this amazing jockstrap adaptation so you can take fluid with you. So here I am. Many of you, and I know many people here tonight, and many of you have experienced ordeal by barbecue or ordeal by Sunday lunch. And you'll know that at a certain point in time, when I've consumed a certain amount of claret, I become impossible to stop from reciting one of Stanley Holloway's recitations. Stanley Holloway, for those of you who don't know, was effectively a music hall comedian who wrote recitations last century, the most famous of which is Albert and the Lion, and some of you will have heard that, but there are many others. But in tribute to him, and in tribute to all those afternoons when everybody drank probably more claret than was good for them, here we go. There's a fine, well-known school called Millfield in Somerset, not far from Street. And coming from all over Britain, these reprobates first there did meet. They had fun and made friends and were sporty. There was rugby and cricket and beer. But if anyone asked about working, like reading or writing, no fear. Now Edward was not bad at ball games. Bath Rugby said, "Now then, my son, what would you say to signing for us?" And Ed said, "That sounds like good fun." A house was obtained just off London Road, not far from the heart of the city. And yes, you can all see where this rhyme is bound, became a den of vice and iniquity. This was also the time boxer Molly appeared, who always the sofa would hog. And if asked to move, gave a beady-eyed stare, which said, "What do you think I am, a dog?" At this time, Low Rider appeared on the scene. He was quickly swept right off his feet. "She's so pretty," he told all his friends. They agreed and said, "Yes, and by gum she can eat." Now Lois at netball was pretty adept, in a skirt and a very smart vest. The friends all concurred that she quite looked the part. Had agreed then said, "But where's her chest?" The next rugby move came along about then, so that more of his skills he could master. To get greater game time, I'm going up north. Where you off? To play for Doncaster. The lads in the north gave him cracking advice. Watch for the big tattooed ones that make passes. "OK," said young Ed, "is that forwards or backs?" "Don't be daft," said the boys, "that's the lasses." From the north to the south the rugby path led. "Well, we live," said Lois with alarm. "Don't worry," said Ed, "I'll play for the Welsh and we'll rent a nice house down in Clom." The London Welsh saga deserves its own book. Twice they rose and defeated all comers. By the use of both skill and cunning Welsh guile and a very well-known pair of brothers. Another club called, and to Wasps did Ed go. And for Lois, a new netball scene. To Oxford they moved, but Edward's new coach was still Welsh. Are we sensing a theme? About this time too, young Baz did appear. Friends asked, "Is it a pig or a frog?" No, they both said, "Just look under the chair, it's the world's most cowardly bulldog." At last, now to Wales, that connection again, both netball and rugby are hectic. With a house and 2 dogs in the capital too, are our pair going to end up being Celtic? But for Edward, a new challenge loomed up ahead. Don't risk boredom, the solution is clear. Just jump in a pool, wrong end, break your neck, then climb Snowdon in less than a year. And so to today, the Italian way, full of pasta and vino and laughter. Let's fill one more glass and hope this comes to pass. The toast is happy ever after. Happy ever after.
Thank you, Tom. Cheers. Thank you. Sorry, I'm going to have to screen through here so we see you lot.
Can I go here? Does this work?
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let's just say thank you to Ed and Lois for inviting us here today. And also thank you to Ed as well. For all of us here, we're here for many reasons, and I'm here, stood here now, because I am his best mate. And it's something I'd like to say I'm incredibly proud of. It's been said before, but I'd like to say again, thank you to the bridesmaids, the groomsmen, and everyone here who's contributed to the day. I think we can all agree it's been a fantastic location, a fantastic day, and a very, very warm. Well, now, moving on Sorry, I'm being attacked. Look at that. Obviously, I am here today to talk about Ed, but before I do that, I'd just like to take a mention for Lois. Lois, your parents, Steve and Alison, should be incredibly proud. I really mean it. You're beautiful, you're courageous, and you're talented, and I feel blessed that the fact that you've married Ed. You're not just Ed's wife. You're one of my best friends, and you've helped us all through a huge amount. And I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for that personally. Thank you. To Lois, if ever like a drink, it's just another reason why. And I'd also like to add that, yeah, Ed, mate, you are punching, so. Now, on to Ed.
No, or not.
Or not? Am I going to do something else? Mark, Sarah, Sue. No matter how hard we've tried, and I mean we really, really have tried to lead Ed astray, somehow, he sits here today, a true gentleman. And I think we can all agree on that. So before writing this, I struggled to start structuring my speech, as anyone would for a best man speech, because it's terrifying. So I thought I'd rely on asking a few of you guys what you thought of Ed and what his key qualities were, and base my speech around that. So some of these qualities came back. So we've got the generous, which we all know he is, loyal, ambitious, considerate, dedicated, fluffy, which was strange, and stubborn. So, very. Is that how it usually?
You said that out loud.
But some of these points stand above the rest, and I think we can all agree that generosity is one of them. Ed has learned well from Mark. Mark already spoke about his barbecues, and anyone who's been to one of them, I think, can safely say that they are an experience.
If they're still alive.
This is true. I'm still here though, so that's all right. Just. So when it comes to hosting, this is one of his wonderful qualities. His generosity for other people, his giving is unrivaled. And as like I said, especially a barbecue. But one in particular that comes to mind was the end of season barbecue for Newport and Gwent Dragons. Now, what Ed has learned from Mark is that a barbecue is all about preparation. And all it really needs is enough booze so everyone's glass is always full all the time. A little bit like here today. And I think we can all agree that that's been the case so far. But back to this barbecue, which I hadn't heard about. This is one of those stories that Ed hadn't actually told me about. And I think there's probably a reason for that as well. But his generosity was so well known within Cardiff that his kitchen became known as Bar 112. And I think a few of you here today could vouch for that as well. I'd like to say as well that I don't think Lois had any consent in this. It just was kind of, it happened. The gay bar. Is that what it is? Is it the gay bar? Okay, well there we go. Now I don't know everything about this bar. However, I do know there is still a pint-sized landlady screaming around the streets of Cardiff who does, and a few of the other boys in this room, there's a table down there who know the full story, a couple over there, they can tell you this full story. So, if only their coach though was here today to tell you that story as well, because I do believe, and I'd like you all to question him and ask later on, what he had to sit down like a naughty schoolboy at the age of 28 years old and tell his coach. And I'm going to leave that to you to find out later on. But jokes aside, this was one barbecue at one of the many rugby clubs Ed has been to. The audience here today is a reflection of Ed's generosity, and everywhere he goes, he welcomed people in. Thanks. He makes it his home, and he welcomes everyone into it, as I said. And this is truly the sign of a generous man. So that was about his generosity, his hospitality and ability to bring people together. Now on to one of the qualities that I pulled out is his stubbornness. And I think we can all agree we've been on the receiving end or the reverse end of his stubbornness every now and again. And it's really, really quite painful. Now, Ed and I were at school together, as you know. But let me paint you a picture. I actually wasn't in this house at the time, but Ed and Tom Maynard, who obviously we spoke about earlier on, were in Walton boarding house. It's a dilapidated Victorian boarding house. It's single glazed windows, which the wind howls throughout. When they were in the dorm together, along with the other 4 to 5 people there, Ed refused outright to turn the lights off, but this was often after his nightly moisturising routine, which he kept going for many a year, for good or bad. However, his stubbornness meant that whoever he lived with him for, well, years, had to brave the freezing cold, flicking the switch instantly and getting back into bed. Well, Ed literally wouldn't refuse. He would sit there with the lights on, grinning, knowing that he'd won. And that is one of Ed's best qualities. It's his stubbornness, but to look at stubbornness in a different way is his willpower. And his willpower is why he was able today to stand up and walk Lois down the aisle. I might be Ed's best man, but he is loved by all of us here today. Truly, I believe as well. And the fact that we've gone through the whole of today in 36 degrees, sweating profusely. Ed's no more so than that, as we can see through the back of his jacket at the time. And hence why I had to come to his aid with a glass of water halfway through as well. So, but with that in mind, I just want to give you an anecdote. This speech isn't going to go on a long time, because I think we've all had quite a long day. I want to get down in that pool pretty soon. But I spoke to people earlier on, before this speech, and one person came back to me, out of the ushers, thank you, one, and he came back with this, and it's a simple anecdote, and these are his words, and I'd like to thank Charlie Davies for this, and I'm going to read it verbatim as well. He's a bloke of talent and work rate, who enjoys everything for what it is. For example, after an all-nighter at Henley Regatta, he turned up half-cut to fitness at Wasps. The fitness testing during pre-season, he turned up and he beat everyone. Got back in his car and went back to enjoy his 2-day bender with his mates. There was no doubt in all the Wasp lads' heads that he would have outlasted everyone there, and I can vouch for that because me and him were in the car park at 4 a.m. after getting kicked out of the hotel for jumping up and down on the beds too much. Because we are children. With the motto, eat clean, drink dirty. That was Charlie's words, but they are words that I think we all can believe when it came out of Ed's mouth. And I think also today, eating clean, fantastic food, drinking dirty, get the gin out.
To the gin!
But that motto that Ed may or may not have said, it still stands. And this is what Charlie said, he's taught me as a friend not to overthink things, and that life could be worse. To smile and be grateful for what is around you. And I'd like you all just to take a moment now and just appreciate that as well. It's a fantastic location, a fantastic setting, and you're two wonderful people that we're incredibly proud to be here next to your side.
Just got something else.
Now, this attitude has been a constant throughout, to any challenge that Ed has faced in the past. Obviously, the last 18 months, he's managed to push and overcome these as well. But it hasn't always been easy for Ed and other people here. And he's always been there for all of us. In any way, in any form, you know he's always there. He's respected by all, but probably the way he respects Lois is actually most important. He's a true gent and a hero. And I'd like just to finish this off, because it was brief, just with a toast to the lovely bride and groom who we all love dearly. And thank you much for a fantastic day and letting us be part of your life.
Well done, mate. Good boy, well done.
Well done, Rich.
Good boy.
I can't promise mine will be as nice.